How are EV batteries recycled? Recycling batteries seems like a no-brainer. But our track record has been lousy. Hard numbers are difficult to come by, but in Canada, the US, and many European countries, it's estimated that only 2 to 11% of lithium-ion batteries find their way to a recycling facility when they die. Instead, they sit forgotten in cupboards or drawers, or worse, end up in landfills. Electric cars could change that. Their batteries are too big, too toxic, and too valuable to simply throw away. The global EV revolution has given rise to a new recycling industry that hopes to capitalize on this future waste problem and help solve a looming minerals shortage. Li-Cycle's Kingston, Ontario facility doesn't resemble a mine. There's no hole in the ground or tailings. Instead, a handful of workers unpack skids of old or defective electric vehicle battery modules, carefully lifting them onto a conveyor belt. Then, one by one, they are dropped into a chemical solution before being shredded. This stage of the recycling process breaks down the batteries into 3 distinct components: plastics, metals, and black mass. The latter is Li-Cycle's bread and butter. Black mass is a dark, shiny dirt-like substance that contains a concoction of minerals needed for new batteries. To retrieve them, the black mass must go through a complex process that involves using an acid solution to leach and separate the minerals. The end products are battery-grade materials ready to be sold back to battery manufacturers. This new technology is being perfected by a cluster of Canadian battery recyclers, all vying for their slice of the global market. The first wave of end-of-life EV batteries is expected to come in 2030, when an estimated 1.7 million tons of battery waste will need to be disposed of. A handful of nations produce the world's critical mineral supply. Lithium is sourced from Australia and increasingly, Chile, Argentina and Bolivia, a region of South America now dubbed the Lithium Triangle. China produces graphite, while the Democratic Republic of the Congo provides cobalt. The demand for minerals is expected to skyrocket over the next 2 decades. The IEA predicts nickel and cobalt demand will surge to more than 60%, and lithium nearly 90%. The issue that will plague the EV movement in the years to come is the global mining industry's inability to keep pace. In a scenario that meets the Paris Agreement goals, the IEA estimates that lithium and cobalt will be in short supply by 2030, with today's mines only able to provide about half of what's needed for the overall energy transition. Li-Cycle shreds the spent batteries and separates the materials through a water-based technique known as hydrometallurgical processing. It sifts out metals and plastics for recycling, leaving the main byproduct, a dirt-like substance known as black mass. Black mass is made up of lithium, cobalt and nickel, critical minerals that are the building blocks of EV batteries. Starting in 2023, Li-Cycle will send the black mass to a new facility it is building in Rochester, New York, where it can separate the black mass into valuable battery-grade materials to be used to make new EV batteries. Li-Cycle says the plant will be the first source of recycled battery-grade lithium carbonate production in North America. His company can recover 95% of those critical minerals needed to make new EV batteries, and the process can happen repeatedly. There's no limit on the number of times the same lithium, nickel, and cobalt can be recycled. The biggest challenge Canadian recyclers say they face today is getting their hands on enough supply. For now, they're surviving off battery manufacturing scrap, EV defects, and consumer batteries, like laptops, cell phones, and power tools. The batteries currently powering electric cars are lasting 10 to 20 years, which is longer than expected, but the industry remains confident that come 2030, there will be more than enough batteries to go around. While Canada hasn't pledged federal funding for recycling EV batteries, the US is spending hundreds of millions of dollars on recycling projects. The US Senate also just passed a bill to increase EV battery recycling, which could soon be signed into law. Recycling options will drive more consumers to EVs because they'll feel better about where the batteries will end up.